That's the last number of my car.
Hey guys, how's it going? Let me set up this room real quick and then we can get started. So I'm on a little early. I know I said 4 o'clock, but I figured I might as well get on early and answer as many questions as we can right now. So let me just get everything set up here. Get set up there. All right, cool, looks good. Just gonna let everybody in the room real quick and then we can get started. So, let's see what's here. All right, cool. That's good. Let's go. I'll give it a few minutes. If you guys do have questions, I can answer them. You know, just go ahead and put them in the chat or put them in the YouTube, wherever you guys are. And I can answer any questions that you guys have. But I'll give it a minute for people to get in because I did start early. But I think we should be good for the most part. I'll just send this link out over here. Cool. So I just made CT and C-suit co-hosts in case you want to cover anything. But I mean, it's not really necessary unless there's specific questions for them. So let me just get this link sent out to the rest of the members here. Got that sent right there. Just saw a message you sent, Jeff, in the group, maybe in eternity. Yeah, exactly. So let me, sorry guys, I'm just looking at what we covered over here. All right, cool. So it looks like, Rick made it. Everyone's making their way in. All right, cool. So let me just check the YouTube. I think we're good on here. I'll just send this link out as well for people who want to hop in. What's up, Nick? Yeah, I know. We haven't done a mentoring session in a while. A lot of people just haven't asked for it. You know, I'm available if you guys need a mentoring session. It's just nobody's really been asking for mentoring sessions, so I haven't been holding them, but I'm available if you guys need it. It's just a couple of people did ask. See if Charles is in here. Charles is the one that asked actually for this session, but I don't see him in here. Let me see if I can find him or send him the link directly so he can hop into this because he's the one that actually called for this session today. Let's see where he's at. There he goes. But yeah, if you guys ever have questions or you guys want me to hold a mentoring session, I mean, just let me know and I can hold one for you guys. You know, like I mentioned, I'm here to help you guys out. I know I am busy, but you know, I can make time for you guys if this is something that you guys need. I mean, most of you guys don't need it because we cover this every day anyways, but you know, it's available if you guys do need it. So let me just get this sent out over here as well. Just gonna send it to all of our outlets just in case people are missing this because I know some people don't see the link here. So right there. And this session will pretty much run until we run out of questions. I mean, mainly I'm here just to answer questions. I'm not really looking to trade live right now. It's only 3 o'clock, so the market barely opened. I'll probably look at US 30 to see if there's anything that we could possibly enter, but I mean, for the most part, we're just going to be taking it easy because we don't want to be taking any, you know, unnecessary risky trades. Good right here. All right, so it looks like it's pretty much sent out to the majority of places. I think the last place is just maybe the Facebook and Instagram. If I don't really care about the Instagram, but I'll post it on the Facebook. So yeah, guys, We're still a little early. We're about 10 minutes early from our scheduled session. So if you guys do have questions, go ahead and send them out. You know, the session is pretty much for you guys. I'm here to answer any questions regarding any of the K2 strategies, risk management, trade psychology, FTMO, really anything, guys. If you guys have any trading related questions, I can literally answer anything now because we're not trading. So I can, you know, I can put full focus into anything that you guys need help with. If there's something that you guys want me to analyze, I can do that too. It's just, I mean, it's pretty much open forum for all you guys here. Let's see, Josh just made it in here as well. Let me make Josh a co-host in case he needs to cover anything. All right, cool. So pretty much all the K2 admins here are co-hosts. I think Kyle's the only one that's not here right now. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. So got this posted on social media. It's 3:51 right now. We still have 9 minutes till the actual starting time. So let's check this real quick. All right, looks like it's posted. So looks like everything's pretty much good to go. And we can start this session if there's anything that you guys want to cover right now. So basically, what I'll do right now is I'll just go over I'll go over the scalping strategies because you know, that's what we mainly been applying. Unless there's something else that you guys want me to cover, I'll just go over like what we basically cover every day. I'm trying to think of something that needs to be. I would go over the breakout strategy, but we can't go over it, you know, after hours because we can't look at the fundamental analysis over here because it markets closed, right? This is the Dow 30 charts from yesterday. You can see how it's all red right here. It closed pretty deep in the red with negative 152 points. This is why we wait for this because see, for example, here, if you waited for it to get like below 100 points, you could have caught some nice sells here off of US 30. So basically, we had this morning session today where I locked in. Let's see, how much profit did I lock in today? So today I took about 4 trades. Oops. Wrong link. Yeah, today I took 4 trades right here. All of these on this during the session. So like in the morning, we took these buys over here. Let me just pull up the chart. We took these buys over here on this end for these right here. So we took, I think it was like this buy right here. We hit the full TP off that. It was like 25 pips, I believe. Yeah, so we hit the full TP off that. We also took another buy over here. And we hit full TP off that. So these are pretty much the trades that we took for this morning. Those are the trades that I have here for these wins. One sell, I think it was this one right here. So I took the sell over here. I hit the full TP off that. Right there, sell, full TP, 2 buys, full TP, and I took another buy right here, mid-session. So that's pretty much those 3 trades right there, including just a random buy that I took around this area. But if you took the sells over here after I got offline, it was pretty much a bunch of nice sells here. So like basically what we were waiting for is for this to become like a negative 100 or positive 100. But when it hit 8 o'clock, it never reached that point. So I logged off. As soon as I logged off, price just dumped. Like literally I logged off right here at 8 o'clock when it was up here. And then as soon as I logged off, it dumped right here. So probably around this area, it dropped to negative 100 points. So if you were waiting for that, I did see a lot of you guys did lock in a lot of profit as I logged off. So let me just pull this up over here. So my last profit was sent at like 8 o'clock today. So this was my last, let me see if I can find it. My last profit from today was sent right here. So my last profit was sent around 8 o'clock today. That was when I was done trading. But as soon as I logged off, a lot of you guys still kept trading. So you can see right here, like Romano took all these sells all wins. A couple of you guys down here as well, like from the bottom. A couple of you guys over here. Let me scroll down to the end where you guys were still trading as I logged off. So I think, yeah, so Deswell over here, he took some sells right here. You can see it towards the end, he took 3 sells right there, all full TP. He locked in about 11,000, or he locked in more actually. Let me go to his full trades down here. I think he locked in more than that, but from right here, he locked in 3 sells right here. And those are these 3 sells over here, right? So we have a sell right here. This hit full TP down there. This one as well, full TP down there. And then this one right here, full TP right there. So Deswell kept trading and he locked in 3 sells right here for the Dow 30. He locked in about 1,300 and on that last one, 3,000 because he just held on to this as it dropped. He could have closed out around 25 points, but he held it to like, I think 40 or 50 pips down there or 40 points. And he locked in 3,000 off that trade. So, you know, if you guys understand the strategy, you guys can apply it. So I'm going to break down how this strategy is applied for the most part. If you guys want to apply it during not just New York session, but throughout the day, because a lot of people have been asking me, you know, they've been running into issues where they run into bad trades. And the reason for that is because they're not confirming the bias on all the time frames. So first, I'm going to go over the strategy so that you guys can understand how each strategy works. And then after that, I will go over how I analyze things for you guys who want to trade during Asia session and London session. Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that you have to use a bias, right? You have to find the bias on the 10-minute, 3-minute, and 1-minute. Some people just go on the 3-minute and take every single trade, which is completely fine. But the thing with that is if that's all you're doing, you know, you're probably going to run into a lot of fake outs because you guys aren't trading in the direction of the bias or the direction of momentum. So I'll go over that. If you guys have any specific questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and I'll answer them for you. But I'm going to clear up a couple of things here. Let me ask Kenny if he's in here right now. I don't even see Charles in here. Charles is the one that asked for this meeting, but he's not in here right now. I'll see. He'll probably come in like around 4 because I did tell him around 4, so he should be coming in. But let me see if Kenny's here. Bias explanation in the live mentoring. Let me just send this over to Kenny real quick because I know Kenny had this issue this week. He was asking about the 3-minute. I don't think he was using the explanation here. So I don't think any of you guys need help with any of the strategies here, but I'll just put the requirements here just so that you guys can follow through with each strategy. So I'm gonna start off with the K2 US 30 10-minute snipe strategy. So for this, you just want to confirm a wick rejection off K2 pivot off any K2 pivot to confirm a wick rejection off K2 SAR zone. 3, confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch candle body. And lastly, confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. And then after that, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So this strategy is super simple. Let me see if I could find an example here to show you how this works necessarily. Let's see. Let's see if there's like an entry that happened somewhat recently where you can follow it. Like, okay, like this one over here. So this was from this morning. Let's go over here and I'll show you exactly how this works. So basically the way that we drew these zones here is we turn on the K2SR indicator right here. And if you turn off these, so basically what I did is I drew my own zones over the K2SR zones because you can see from here, it's way too messy, right? You don't even know what you're looking at. So what I did was I drew my own zones over the K2SR zones. Then I turned off the indicator. So now you can see things a lot better. So looking at this strategy right here, the first requirement is a wick rejection off the K2 pivot. So for example, right here, this green candle is rejecting off the green and blue pivot right there, right? So that's requirement number one. Requirement number two, you want to confirm the wick rejection off the K2SR zone. It's rejecting off this zone right here. So that's requirement 1 and 2. Third, you want to confirm the wick rejection off the pivot doesn't touch the candle body. So this pivot isn't touching body, that's fine. And lastly, you want to confirm the direction of momentum. So right here, we have a buy signal. If I turn off the pivots, it'll clean it up a little bit. And you can see we have a momentum up signal right here. So with that said, that's going to be all the requirements. So once all those have been confirmed, you can enter a long position right over here when this candle closes. And then you can pretty much ride this up for either 500 pips or to TP1 for 250 pips. I mean, it just depends on the market conditions. I think today market conditions weren't so great. So what we did was we only shot for like half the move for about 250 pips. So looking at this right here, if you were to take that, you can see if you went to TP1, it would have hit. If you went for TP2, you know, you might have not had the best luck there because of how the market was moving. So depending on market conditions, you'll go for TP1. For, you know, decent or good market conditions, you'll go for the full TP. But I'm just showing you guys how this strategy here works so that I can explain how I trade this during Asia session. So this is going to be the snipe strategy. Hopefully you guys caught on to that. If you guys have any questions regarding the strategy, you know, just put them in the chat and then I can answer that for you. So that's the first strategy right there. The 3-minute over here will be the K2 US 30 3-minute pivot strategy. And this one's a lot simpler. So first you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. After that, you want to confirm, or for 2A, you want to confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4, or 2B, confirm price is below pivots for a sell or above for a buy. So after that, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So just following this right here, I'll just show you how the strategy works. It's super simple. Looking at this right here, you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal has appeared. So right here, we have a valid sell signal. The reason it's valid is because we have a sell signal with a red bearish candle within it. So in order for it to be valid, it needs to be red and red or green and green. So right here, we have a valid sell signal. Next up, you want to confirm prices breaking and closing past the K2 pivots 3 and 4. But right here, it's not breaking or closing past any of these pivots, right? So with that said, we ignore 2A, we go down to 2B. You want to confirm prices below the pivots for a sell. Right here, prices below the pivots, and we're looking for a sell. So with that said, we can enter on the open of the following candle. Right here, we enter a sell. Our TP stop loss is going to be 25.50, which is 2,500, or it's 250 pips for our TP or 500 pips for a stop loss. With that said, we let it run and see if it plays out. And there you go, full TP. So that's this strategy right here. That's one entry right there. There is another one right here. Same situation. We have a valid sell signal right there. Price isn't breaking or closing past the pivots, but it is below, so qualifies for 2B. So right there, you can enter another short position, same situation. It's 25.50. You let that run right there. And there you go, another full TP. And then again, one last one right over here. So as you guys can see, if you guys have this set up like this, it's really simple and you guys can easily lock in massive profits doing this. And then after I'm covering this, I'll show you what I mean about the bias. So the reason for us entering this trade here is because the bias is for a sell. So running this again right here, there we go for another full TP. So 3 back-to-back wins right there. Just rewinding to this point in time right here at 10 o'clock, we'll go to the 10-minute and I'll just rewind this to 10 o'clock, which was right here. So what I mean about the bias is first, I want to make sure that the bias on the higher time frame is going in the direction of my trade. So right here on the 3-minute, I'm looking for a sell. I'll go on the 10-minute at that same time, 10 o'clock, right? I'll just rewind this to 10 o'clock as well. So this trade came up around 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, the same time for the 10-minute, it has a sell bias, right? Reason for the sell bias is that price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red. This isn't necessary, but it's an addition just for an extra confluence. And this will confirm that we have a sell bias, right? If price is below the pivots, this is indicating that the trend is trending down, and odds are it's going to keep dropping further and further. So with that said, we have the sell bias here on the 10-minute. We go down to the 3-minute. We have a sell entry here. It's going in the direction of the bias. So that's why I would take this trade here. So right there, this would have hit full TP. Again, right here, the next one at 11. We'll just move this forward a few hours, or an hour, I guess. 11 o'clock is right over here. Let me just back it up a little bit. So 11 o'clock is around right here. With that said, it's still in the sell bias, right? So with that said, if we had a sell right here at 11, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to take this for a sell, right? I take the sell. And then, like I mentioned, it pulls back a little bit, but eventually it drops to TP. And that's how we identify exactly what we're looking for when we're taking these trades. An example for when you don't want to take these trades is if we have a sell bias here, and then you're looking for a buy, right? Let me see if I could find a buy here. I just want to show you an example of like when you don't want to enter a trade like that. So, okay, so like this right here. So for example, I'm just using this as an example here. So for example, here you have a buy entry, right? The reason for that buy entry is because we have a valid momentum signal for a buy right there. Let me just go up to, I'll just rewind it to around that same time over here as well. Okay, so I'll rewind it to 1 o'clock. So looking at 1 o'clock right here, if you're looking on the 10-minute, it has a sell bias, right? Reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, right? With that said, it has a sell bias. Right here at 1 o'clock, we have a buy entry. The reason for this buy entry is because we have a valid buy signal right there. So 1's confirmed. 2A, you want to confirm price is breaking, closing past the pivots right here. It's not breaking or closing past it. It's technically already above it. So we're going to skip that, go to 2B. Confirm price is above for a buy. So with that said, it's above it. It fits all requirements, right? However, it's not moving in the direction of the trend. Right here, the bias for the 10-minute is a sell bias. So right here, we wouldn't take this. Even though it looks like a good entry, we wouldn't take it. And the reason for that is because this is probably going to pull back and reverse on us, right? And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So let me just mark this up right there, mark this up right there, let this run, and look what happens here. Straight reversal, right? That's why we don't take the trade, because it's not in the direction of the bias. So this is something that you guys want to make sure of and to follow, because if you don't follow the, our process here, you can easily end up with a loss or in some massive drawdown. See, that would have been a straight loss. That's the reason why we use the bias here on the 10-minute to take the trade, because you don't want to get caught in something like this. So there's an explanation for you guys there. Hopefully you guys understand that it's not really that difficult. It's more so, it's just following directions. All right, let's see. I think we have a question here. Okay, cool. So Salorm got it. You guys got it. Looks good there. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to cover. So King Kong said, how do I set up those red lines on the 10-minute? So King Kong, which red lines are you talking about? The zones right here? So if you're talking about these zones right here, I'll do it for you right here. So let me just take everything off the chart. In order to set up these zones right here, you have to, I'll just delete everything off here, and then I'll show you from scratch. It's the same thing as putting the K2SR zones. I'm not sure if you've done the zones before, King Kong, but it's right over here. Oh, there's Kenny. All right, cool, Kenny. So yeah, you picked up exactly what I was referring to, right? Because I know you had those issues, but now that I've cleared it up for you, you can kind of understand what I mean about having this, having it in order, going from the 10-minute to the 3-minute to the 1-minute, depending on what time frame you're trading on. But let me just take everything off the chart right here. All right, King Kong. So in order to get those red, like these zones that I had on the chart earlier, those red rectangles, basically I turn on the K2SR indicator right here, and the zones are placed on the chart, right? So with these zones right here, you can see how messy it is. In order to put those rectangles on the chart, you just pull up the rectangle tool right here, and then you draw your zones on the chart right here over them. You just overlap the zones so that you can clean up the chart Generally, if you don't have the settings set up the way I do, it's going to look like this. In order to get the zones across the board, you just click extend right and extend left. And then you'll have the zones cover the entire chart. So basically what I do is I just overlap these zones right here. If the zones overlap each other, I just create one big zone instead of drawing like, 100 zones on here. And with that said, let's see, we got a zone right here. A zone right here. Zone right here. Right there. And again, right here. So you can see how easy that is once you have that. You turn off the K2SR indicator, and there you go. You have some perfectly drawn zones. So this is pretty much how you would draw these zones on the chart. And then once you have that, you can turn everything else back on, and you're good to go. And that's pretty much it. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, no problem, Patricia. Yeah, Patricia said, actually, Shawn, that helped me as well. Thanks. Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that. That's why we have such a high win rate here at K2, because I make sure things are like I'm trading in the proper direction, right? A lot of people like to just trade in a random direction, but if you want that high accuracy like I have, where I rarely lose, it's because I'm making sure I'm basically what is that saying? Crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's. I'm making sure that I'm trading the proper direction, and I confirm all the confluences that I need to make sure that I'm actually gonna be trading in the direction that we need to be trading in. So pretty much that's it for that right there. Let me see if there's anything else for me to look at. Yeah, no problem, Kong. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask, put your question in the chat. I'm here to help you guys out, answer any questions that you guys have regarding trading. If it's the strategies, trade psychology, risk management, lot sizes, it's really up to you guys. Whatever you guys need help with, I'm here to help you guys out. This is your guys' session, and I'm here to pretty much answer all of your questions, since I can't really do it during the trading session. So let's see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Salorm's asking, how far do you have to zoom out to start drawing the K2SR zones? You don't have to draw. It's really up to your own preference, Salorm. So like, let me just go to a clean chart over here. So let me just go to US 30. I mean, it depends on how you want it, right? If you turn on the K2SR indicator, if you're zoomed in tight, I mean, you can still draw them here. It's just like, it becomes a little more difficult because everything is kind of scrunched up. But if it's hard for you to see from a distance, then you can zoom in as close as you want. For me, I do this every day, so this is like easy for me to look at. So I just zoom out. So I could just draw it from out here. I don't even have to zoom in at all. I'll just zoom out, and then I'll draw from this point. But it's all up to preference. If this is too hard for you to see on the chart, which it might be, if this isn't easy for you, then what you can do is you can zoom in as much as you need to. You can draw the zones right there. And then you can, because I know sometimes it's a little hard for you to see if they're overlapping or not. So if you need to zoom in close, you can do that. You can zoom in as close as you want or as far as you want. You don't have to zoom in anywhere specific. It's just up to your own preference, whatever is easier for you. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, once you have this set up, you pretty much have all of the market structure drawn up for you. And this is good for you too, because if you guys have market structure drawn up, you can identify where there's like double tops or double bottoms. It just helps you identify price action. If you're a price action trader, you don't necessarily need to trade the way I do, but having this market structure drawn up helps a ton, because you can identify when price is consolidating. You can see when it's actually moving. Like for example, right here, right? Price, it's pushed up a little bit, and then now it's coming back down to retest the zone, right? So this is important because with it testing the zone right here, you can anticipate one of two things, right? Price can either continue down or it can just reject back up. There's a couple different ways that this can play out, but having this market structure here will definitely help you guys identify and anticipate what's going to happen next. Yeah, so Fern said, that's a piece I was missing. Very thankful. Yeah, very helpful. Yeah, no, definitely, Fern. I'm glad I could help you guys out with that. So let me go to the next question here. Let's see, Roman's asking, Shawn, could you show us briefly how to use the strategy on currency pairs later? Yeah, sure. So this strategy, I mean, you can use it on currency pairs, but the thing with currencies is that it's kind of hard to scalp because your spread's going to be super wide, right? So it depends on like what you're planning on trading, Roman. You know, if you're trading something like, I'm trying to think, do you have like a specific pair that you like to trade, Roman? Because you can give me a random pair and then I can, okay, so for example, you said, can you mark up AUDJPY for us? How would you go about taking that trade? So I'll pull up AUDJPY over here. For Forex pairs, it's a little harder to trade, like I was mentioning, for scalps, because the problem is like your spread's gonna be wide. Like my spread's 2 pips right here. It's gonna be like impossible for you to like take a 2 pip scalp, right? Or a 10 or a 5 pip scalp. You'd have to go for at least 10 to 15 pips to make it worthwhile. So like, for example, here, the strategy still works fine. It's just a little more difficult for you guys to really find accuracy, right? Because there's a lot of noise on the Forex charts over here, especially because the type of market that we're in right now. Like, for example, over here, you can see that we have, I'm going to try to find an entry here. So like, for example, here, this would have been a scalp entry. And so here's the thing too, Roman, I think you got to be a little more specific with which strategy you want me to cover, because right now I just covered 3 different strategies. I covered the 10-minute snipe strategy. I also covered the pivot strategy. And then we have like the same thing on the 1 minute. So depending on which one you want me to cover, I mean, I could cover all of them if you really want me to, but for you specifically, I think the 3 minutes going to be a little difficult to apply. So you might want to stick with the 10-minute here. So I'll show you the snipe strategy on the 10-minute. Let's see if we could actually find an entry here. But, you know, like I was mentioning before, it's kind of difficult to find entries off of the lower time frames, because, you know, your spread gets in the way. Unless you have like a really tight spread, it's going to be really difficult for you to scalp these Forex pairs. So let me just zoom out from this point. I'm going to draw my zones, like I mentioned over here, and then I'll analyze it on the higher time frame as well. So I'll analyze this for a scalp, which it might be a little difficult. I mean, it's doable, but it is difficult. And then I'll do it on the higher time frame. Generally, when I trade currencies, I go on the higher time frame. I use the K2SR zone strategy. I don't necessarily use the scalping strategies for Forex, because it's just you know, there's just too much noise on these charts for you to scalp on these. So anyways, here's the zones that I drew up. I'll pull up the pivots right here. Let's see if we could find any entries here, and then I'll try to see if we can pull something from it. So there's no entry there. No entry there. I'm just going to try to find something that's, I guess, worthwhile. Okay, like for example, right here, this is going to be one right here, I believe. Okay, perfect. So using the same snipe strategy that I just went over earlier, so this is the K2, and you can use this on any time frame. It's not just a 10-minute, but I'll just show you here. 10-minute snipe strategy, same requirements. Confirm a wick rejection off K2, off any K2 pivots to confirm a wick rejection off K2SR zone. 3, confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot, does not touch candle body. And then lastly, you want to confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. And then lastly, enter on the open of the following candle. So looking at this right here, same situation. If you look at this green candle right here, we have a wick rejection off that green pivot right there. So that's requirement number 1. I'll just put a line right there. Requirement number 2, confirm wick rejection off the K2SR zone. This is an entire zone right here. So that's requirement number 2. Requirement number 3, confirm the wick rejection off the pivot does not touch the candle body. This green pivot right here isn't touching the body. So that's requirement number 3. Requirement number 4, you want to confirm the direction of momentum using the K2 momentum indicator. Right here, we have a sell momentum. So a sell direction is going to be our bias here. So with that said, we can enter a sell. So after this, you can enter a short position right here. Let me just delete this stuff right here and I'll move it over. And there's a couple different ways to set your TP stop loss. Like for example, here, what you can do is you can either just place it there and then have it set automatically. But this is only 2 pips, right? Roman, this is what I mean about you scalping is it's nearly impossible because your spread is 2 pips. So the thing is, if you're going to scalp 2 pips here, you're not going to make any profit, right? Because you got to cover the spread. So what I'll do here is you can possibly zoom out, put a short position right there. And then this might be a little better. I mean, it's not very much better. It's still only 4 pips, but it's, I mean, I'll show you how it works here. So if you let this run, you can see right there, full TP, right? Straight to TP with no drawdown. But the problem with this is, I mean, are you really going to make money scalping for 2 pips, right? You're not really going to make much profit doing this because your spread's going to eat up half of your profit here because you got to pay the spread, which is 2 pips. You're technically only locking in like 2 pips here. So, for this here, you know, it's a little difficult, but I'm just showing you that it works, right? My main thing here is to show you that it works. So you can apply it. It's just applying it is going to be difficult. So let me just show you an intraday. Okay, yeah. So you said we can just do intraday. That's probably going to be best for Forex. If you want to do this strategy on the higher time frames, you can. It's just you know, you're not going to find very much because this is the strategy that we just covered, that 10-minute, it's a scalp strategy. So the thing is, if you use it on the higher time frame, not that it doesn't work, but here, let's just see if you can get some possible entries off here. I'll just pull it up to see if there's anything we can possibly look at, because I've seen other people do use it. If you look at the chat here, there's a couple people who actually do apply it. I just don't know. Here, let me see. There's someone here that posted a chart. I think it was Mohammed. So Mohammed posted charts this morning. Okay, here he is. He posted these charts this morning. He took it on the 3-minute as well. He was trading GBP CAD on the 3-minute and he made profit off it. I don't know what his spread is. Maybe his spread's like super tight, but he made like 150 bucks off it. He did a standard lot and he makes profit off it. So, you know, the strategy works. It's just, I don't know what your spread's like. If your spread's really tight, then yeah, you can execute it easily. But for me personally, I don't think odd JPY is really one that you can pull it off with. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Roman. Yeah, not for scalps. You'd probably want to use it for intraday. So what I'll do now is I'll go over the intraday strategy with you guys, just to show you guys exactly how the how the other strategy works. So I'll put it on the 4-hour. Generally, when I trade Forex, I trade on the 4-hour. And okay, so Roman wants to go over the Euro NZD trade that we took earlier. So this is the trade. I'll mark it up for you guys here. Let me just zoom out from this point. The first thing I do, this is the first step that I do when I look for, or actually, let me just go over here real quick. That was the pair, right? Euro NZD. Okay, so that was a trade that we took there. Okay, so I'll break down exactly how I mark up the charts from start to finish. So when analyzing a Forex pair for an intraday trade, the first thing I'm going to do is take everything off the chart. As you can see right here, it's a naked chart. I zoom out from this point. And what I do from here is I draw my zones. So first I identify market structure. I turn on the K²SR indicator right here. And the first thing I do is I draw my zones. I do that so I can identify the rejection point. So we have one down here. I have one right here. And if they overlap, we just draw one big zone to cover the entire area. Same with this over here. These overlap. It's one big zone right there. Again, right here, one more zone. And then lastly, right there. So once those are all drawn up, I'll turn that off. And as you can see, if you zoom out again, we have perfectly drawn market structure, right? You can see price comes up, rejects off this zone, comes back down this area, ranges for a bit, shoots back up, consolidates, comes back down. Heavy consolidation right here until it breaks into a new zone, right? So with that said, you can even chop this up if you really wanted to. Like if you wanted to chop this up to identify market structure from like say here to here, you can pretty much see that this is a consolidation phase, breakout to the upside, some more consolidation right here. And then as soon as it breaks below, new market structure right here, right? Like it makes it easy because this will give you an idea of like where market's going to go because you have a storyline. You're like, oh, price went from here to now down here, now to up here. And you can just chop this up because every time you chop it up, it just creates new areas of market structure, right? So as you guys can see here, This is one market structure. This is another, this is another, this is another, and et cetera, et cetera. So once you have this set up right here, obviously, you know, previous market structure doesn't really matter as much. So we'll go to where price currently is, which is down here. And with that said, you can see that price is currently within this area here. So if you really wanted to focus within this area, you can just chop this up from there. And you can see that price is now bouncing within this area right here, right? Once price is right here, price can do one of two things. It can break above, or it can bounce off here and come right back down and just range within this area unless it breaks below here. And then it creates new market structure, right? So that's why it's important to draw market structure first to identify where price is going. And once this is all set up, that's when you can start looking for entries. So Roman was asking about the entry that we took this morning. That's pretty much the trade that I called over here. I called a Euro NZD buy. So this morning about 6 o'clock, I called this trade right here for a buy. It was a buy stop. And then we hit TP1 right here. And then right after we hit TP2 right there. And then lastly, we hit full TP right there with no drawdown. In order for me to identify that entry, I'll just go back to where I called it. So let's see. I called it at about 6 o'clock. So I'll just rewind this to 6 o'clock, which was right here. And the strategy that I used for this was the K2SR zone strategy. This is actually one of the easiest strategies. And if you guys have followed any of my Forex trades, this is the only strategy that I use for my Forex trade. So this is the K2SR zone strategy. So first you want to confirm a break and close past K2SR zone to confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. And then lastly, you can enter on the open of the following candle to next zone. So I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator right here. The first requirement, you want to confirm a break and close past the K2SR zone, right? So right here, price was below the zone. And what happened was price broke above it. So I'll just, what I'll do is I'll just go from this area right here, because this is where the entry actually opened. So as you can see right here, price was in the zone. For this candle over here, it broke above it, right? So with that said, that's the first requirement. We're just going to knock this out right there. That's requirement number one. Requirement number two, you want to confirm the direction of momentum using the K2 momentum indicator. So right here, we have a bullish momentum. And with that said, you're looking for buys. So after that, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So as soon as you have this met, requirement number one right here, requirement number two right here, everything's met, right? With that said, you enter a long position right here, and then you ride this to the next zone up here, which I guess you can round it up to like 65 pips or something like that. So there you go. You have everything set up. This is the strategy right here. And then if you let it run, there you go, full TP with like literally no drawdown. So that's the strategy that we applied for this right here. Roman, I mean, there's other confluences that you can use. You can use a trend meter to confirm the direction of the trend, or you can use the pivots also to confirm the, you know, the short-term trend. It's just really up to you. These are all extras, but applying the strategy, the basics, you don't need all of that. You just need the zones, and then you need the momentum indicator. So that's an example of how this strategy works. And basically how we call most of these trades here. Right here, I wouldn't have taken this trade. I know this looks like a decent trade right here too, but this is one that I wouldn't have taken because I believe this was on Friday, or when was it? I forgot. Let me see, the 6th. When was the 6th? Because there was an entry right here, but I didn't call any of these trades on Monday because it didn't look, I mean, it just didn't look. Oh, it was on Sunday. Okay, so yeah, this was Sunday on the 6th. That's why I didn't call this trade right here, because obviously you can see that there was a huge reversal, right? I mean, you probably could have locked in some profit right here because it did drop at least like 30 or 40 pips, but it did reverse all the way back up. So that's why I don't call these trades here. I generally start trading like Monday morning or like really late Sunday night. This was like Sunday afternoon, so I didn't call this trade right here. And even if you did, you probably could have made some profit off this, because as price moved into profit, you could move your stop loss in profit and pretty much, you know, executing from there. But I'll show you another example. So another example over here, same situation. for the same pair. You want to confirm a break and close past the K2SR zone. You want to confirm the direction of momentum right here. We have a buy signal. There's actually 2 entries right here. So I'll show you this one first because they're like back to back. So like, for example, right here, breaking close past the K2SR zone. We have the bullish momentum right there. You enter a long position right here. You ride it to the next zone about, say, 90 pips or so. With that said, you let it run. And there you go. Full TP right there. So as you can see, this is like one of the easiest strategies. It's also on the 4-hour time frame, so it's, you know, it's easy to apply. You don't have to be on the charts all day. The only problem with this is that you guys have to be aware of news, be aware of how price is moving. There's like different things that you guys have to confirm, like different confluences, in order to you know, to determine if it's a good trade or not. If you guys follow my live sessions, you guys will see that I always look at different confluences. Like I mentioned, I use a trend meter sometimes to confirm if, you know, the direction of price is really going that direction, because you don't want to get caught in some fake outs, right? Like last week on the 26th, one thing that I also look at is news. So I try not to trade during news. So if you go back to the 26th over here, yeah, the 26th was on Wednesday. There was like news throughout the afternoon. Let me see what time that trade was down here. So 26 in the afternoon, it looks like the Fed was speaking. So in some situations like that, you want to avoid the trade, or if there's anything else that's going on. It's not as simple as it. I mean, it is pretty simple if you're just playing the strategy, but if you want to add accuracy to it, you have to look at the news. You have to look at other things. Like generally what I would do is if I'm going to enter a trade for like Euro NZD, like if you have my watch list here, you can get this from the website. I have all of my Euro pairs lined up right here, right? If I'm taking a buy, I want to make sure all the Euro pairs are bullish. See how they're all green? This indicates that they're all bullish. So if they're all green, I'm like, oh, the Euro has to be strong, right? So if that's the case, I'll take the buy. Vice versa, you know, NZD CAD here, it's all red, right? If I'm looking for a sell for the NZD pairs and they're all red, I'm like, okay, the NZD is weak. So yeah, of course I would take that sell. There's just a bunch of different confluences that you guys can use. I'll probably have to list it at some point. I'll just make a big list of all the confluences that I use, because the more confluences you have, the, you know, the better the trade will be, because the odds of you having some sort of retracement, pullback, or some drawdown will be minimized, right? Like for example, here, if you took this trade, like literally no drawdown, it filled the trade and it went straight to profit. Again, same situation right here. There's another entry at this point. Right here, confirm a breaking close past the K2SR zone, buy signal right there. You do the same thing, long position right there. You probably shoot for, I guess, 55 pips. We'll just round it up. And then from this point over there, you let it run. And, you know, on that one candle right there, it went straight to TP with no drawdown, right? So depending on your confluences, you know, if you have a lot of confluences indicating that price is going to go up, then, you know, you might be in luck, and then you can hit full TP without even doing anything. You literally just enter the trade and you're good to go. So this is pretty much how this strategy works, Roman. But you know, like I mentioned, don't enter every single trade. You want to enter a trade when it's going in your favor. Like you always want to trade in the direction of the bias. Like for example, right here, look at all the AUD pairs, right? See how the AUD pairs, some are green, some are red. They're not all green, right? So the bias isn't really strong for the AUD. So I wouldn't take these trades here. But here for EU, they're for the most part all green. So if I go and just rewind this, or I go back to current time, you can see how it's bullish right here, right? Generally what I'll do is I'll go from the top to the bottom. Euro odd, it's bullish, right? Reason why it's bullish is trend meter is green, price is above the pivots. It's indicating that the euro is strong right now, right? So if I was to see a buy entry right here, I would probably take it. Same with Euro CAD. See how it's above the pivots, trend meter is green. This shows that the euro is strong. If you guys aren't familiar with basic fundamentals, if price is going up, that means that the first currency is stronger than the second currency. So like, for example, here, price is going up, right? If price is going up, that indicates that the euro is strong. So it's strong for Euro odd, strong for Euro CAD. Euro CHF is a little different. The CHF pairs are kind of weird, so I usually don't implement those, but I'll go over to EG over here. It's bullish. EJ, it's bullish. EN, it's bullish. EU, it's just consolidating, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about 5 or 6 out of 2 are bullish, right? So what do you think is going to happen there? Euro is probably bullish. So if you want to enter a trade like Euro NZD, another confluence you guys can do is you can pair the actual indexes, right? So if you want to see how strong the Euro is, just pull up the Euro index, EXY. Looking at this right here, it looks super choppy, but that's because it's on a 10-minute. So what I'll do is I'll put it on the 60-minute on the 1 hour right here. So obviously you can see it's kind of consolidating a little bit. So that might indicate like, oh, you know, maybe this isn't a great trade after all, because it shows that it's bullish here, but it's consolidating right here for the actual Euro. If you're trading the Euro NZD, you can tie it for the Euro currency index with the New Zealand dollar index, which is ZXY. And looking at this here, you can see that the New Zealand dollar is weak, right? So if this is like somewhat bullish and this is very weak, what do you think is going to happen with Euro NZD? It's probably going to keep pushing up. So that's another confluence that I use there. You know, as I mentioned, there's a lot of confluences that I use. I use my watch list. I use the actual currency index. I use the trend meter. I use the pivots. There's a lot of things that you guys can do. You know, you can basically check all this stuff off. The more confluences you have, you know, the better the trade. If you have like 10 confluences, what do you think is going to happen? Your trade's going to hit TP. And that's why when I call trades here, you know, I only call about like maybe like 1 to 5 trades a week, right? For Forex. But if you guys have noticed, all of my Forex trades hit TP, right? Like my win rate here is so high because I make sure that every trade is going to hit before I call it. I don't just call random trades. Like I call trades that I know are going to be, you know, 100%. So looking at our results for this year so far, these are the Forex trades, right? So for Forex, we have 85 wins and 21 losses. Scroll real quick. All right, so 85 wins plus 21 losses. That's a total of 106 trades. So if you divide 85 by 106, I have an 80% win rate right now, 80.1% win rate for Forex. That's a pretty high win rate for this year. And all of our trades are documented from January up until this date. Same with our indices, right? So our indices right here, I have 164 wins and only 26 losses, right? That's a total of 190 trades. So if you do 164 divided by 190, I have an 86.3% win rate for my US 30 trades. So this is why I have such a high win rate, because I'm really careful about my trades. Like I only give you guys quality trades. A lot of people get upset and they complain that I only give like a few trades a week, but you know, you guys follow other people and they have like 100 trades and they lose every trade. So what would you guys rather have, like 5 trades that win or 100 trades that lose? You know, that's how people blow their accounts, because they try to overtrade, when in reality, you just need like a few trades a week. And as long as they all hit, that's all that matters, right? If you have a high win rate, you should be profitable like every single month, no matter what. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the Forex strategy right there. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed before I continue on. So let's see. Roman said, for Forex, should trading be done only on the 4 hour to avoid all the mess, or is it wise to correlate with the higher, lower time frames like we normally would? So that's what the trend meter here is. That's what the trend meter is used for, Roman. The trend meter right here, you can set it to different time frames. So like looking at this right here, I have it set to the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. That way I don't have to go on all those time frames to like analyze. I just set the time frames here, so I don't have to actually go and do all the work. But if you want to, I mean, you can do it. Like if you can do it, if you have time to do it, it'll definitely help you out, because you'll have a better understanding as to where price is going. For me, I'm kind of lazy, right? like I'm already adding all these other confluences, so I don't want to go from the 1 hour to the, I mean, technically you can, like what I do here for US 30, where I have the 10-minute, the 3-minute, and the 1 minute. You can do the same thing with Forex. You can do like the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute if you want. But for me personally, I don't really focus on Forex as much. Like I just do Forex to help you guys out and to just have like trades run. But most of my profits come from US 30, right? If you guys look at all my profits here, it's always US 30, because like one US 30 trade can like cover a whole week of like Forex trades, right? So I focus on US 30 because this is a real cash cow here. But if you guys want to trade Forex, you know, it's fine. It still works perfectly fine. It's just my main focus is on US 30, because you know, I take like 2 or 3 trades US 30 and I'm done for the day. Like I literally trade for 2 hours from like 6 to 8, and then I'm up like 6,000 for the day, right? to hit that on Forex, I probably would have to trade a whole week. So that's why my main focus kind of shifted from Forex to US 30, because I just don't want to be on the charts all day, but I still know how to trade Forex and I can still call winners. So that's why I give you guys these Forex trades for the people who still trade Forex. I still trade Forex, but what I do is I'll take the trade and I'll let it run. I don't necessarily actively manage it how I used to, because I can lose a Forex trade and I'll just make it back on a US 30 trade right after. So it's not really it's not really a big deal to me how I trade it. So yeah, it's really up to you, Roman. If you want to do it, it's a little more work, but it'll definitely increase your win rate if you want to do it by hand. But me being the lazy person, I just put on the trend meter right here so that I can identify the direction of the trend on each time frame. So if you guys aren't familiar with the trend meter down here, when it's green, that means that it's trending up on all those time frames. When it's red, that means it's trending down on all those time frames. If it's blue, that means that it's indecisive. It's like going up on some time frames or it's going down on other time frames. And that's just, a basic explanation as to how this works. So other than that, let me just scroll up and see if I missed anything else, because I was kind of focused on that for a bit. Okay, cool. So Jeffrey asked, hey, Shawn, just curious if you know anyone who passed FTMO with a 9-to-5 job just trading the 4-hour. So I used to only trade the 4-hour before, Jeffrey. So it is possible. That's how that's how I used to trade before I started trading US 30. Because before I didn't trade US 30, I used to be against trading US 30 because I thought it was risky because I didn't know how to trade it. But now that I know how to trade it, there's just really no reason for me not to trade it. So it is possible. I don't know anyone if you just look at the profits, so just go to the, Jeff, if you go to the list of like everyone's profits here, go see who's trading like Forex pairs, right? You can see who's like, so for me, I'm trading US 30. You can see other people here trade Forex. If you see people here trading Forex, like Stanley over here, he makes a lot of profit trading Forex. Stanley's one of the guys that passed FTMO a long time ago. He's one of the first guys that passed FTMO with me when I first did FTMO, and he was doing Forex with me. So just Forex. If you want to hit up Stanley, maybe he could help you. He's working on a new FTMO now because he took a break from trading, then he came back. So if you want to message him, he can probably answer some of your questions or he can give you some advice. But for the most part, majority of us here trade indices for the most part. Like Josh over here, he took my Euro NZD trade. They all hit TP. Yeah, I don't know who still trades a lot of Forex. I know some people still trade Forex, but it's not like their main thing. Their main thing is like indices now, because it's we're in a scalping market. So you need to trade something that moves faster. And for you as well, Jeffrey, I don't know if you understand how the market moves, but the market moves in season. So we're in summer right now. So the Forex pairs are going to be moving slower. It might be harder for you to like make enough profit to pass. I mean, it's possible, but I'm just saying it's going to be it's going to be a bit difficult. Steven over here too. Steven in the group looks like he trades GU, OddCAD, GCAD, USD CHF, Euro NZD. I think Steven's passed his challenge too. So if you want to reach out to him, what I would recommend is just go down the just go to the any of the pages and look at all the profits here. See who has profits that are like Forex pairs, because if they're just Forex pairs, they've probably, that's probably their main thing that they trade. Mohammed here too, if you want to message him. I mean, there's a lot of people here. It's not just Ivardius. If you want to trade cryptos, he's like one of our main crypto guys here. He locks in a ton of profit off crypto. And that's probably the easiest way for you to find out who still trades. Or if you want to put a message in the group, someone can probably just respond to you. But me personally, I don't know exactly anyone's specific names as to who's mainly trading Forex right now. But yeah, so let me just scroll down real quick and see if there's anything else that I missed. Yeah, definitely. No problem, Roman. I think that's it for the questions right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I can answer them for you. See, Patricia said, Shawn, also, I have noticed that New York open momentum signal right before, like at 9:28, 9:30, moves in that direction pretty heavily. Oh, nice. I didn't even think about that, Patricia. So Patricia mentioned that if there's a momentum signal right before market opens, it generally moves in that direction. Actually, I would see that sometimes, but I'd always be scared because the market moves so fast on open. So let's look at 9 o'clock today, or the before market open today. So market opened here at 6:30, and Patricia mentioned, okay, so there's nothing here on for today. Let's look at yesterday's on the 8th. I know on the 1 minute, we could only see so far. So it's a little difficult for us to confirm it, but let me just see if this applies here. So Patricia was saying like on the few minutes before. Okay, so like for example, right here, this is what Patricia meant. So she said that like right before market open, which is here at 6:30, there was a sell signal here, right? So with that sell signal, she mentioned that price generally goes in that direction. So that's good to know, Patricia. Thanks for mentioning that. Because if you took this trade here off of the off the open right there, you could have just caught like a huge, massive move down that way. So yeah, no, that's a great catch there, Patricia. If you were to, I'm sure you've been applying because I've seen your profits. If you guys have seen Patricia in the group, she's been killing it for like the past year with me, right? Patricia, you've been here in K2 for a while now, for I think a year or over a year. But yeah, that's a great catch there, Patricia. So we'll probably keep that in mind when we continue on with these breakout entries, because it's been a little bit harder for us to catch these breakout entries with how the market's been moving. But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty solid. So again, right here, I guess same situation, or that was the open, so that wouldn't have counted. The 7th, the 6th, I think this was Sunday, so there's nothing there. The 4th, market opened, yeah, nothing there. But yeah, no, I definitely see that, Patricia. So thanks for mentioning that. We'll keep that in mind when we, when we start looking for other entries. So let me see if there's anything else that anyone has questions about. Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for questions right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's no dumb questions. A lot of people are afraid to ask questions because they think it's a dumb question, but this is a mentoring session. Like you can ask all the dumb questions you want and I'll answer all of them for you. There's no dumb questions, guys. If there's something that's really, on top of your head and you need help with it, just ask away. Nobody's here to judge you. We're here to make sure that everyone gets everything properly, because everyone's locking in a ton of profits here, guys. So like, here's the thing. If everyone here is locking in here, I'll just go to the save messages. I saved everyone's profits and we have the timestamps here. We haven't gone one day where a K2 member hasn't profited, right? Here's the timestamp for today. I can go to a random date. Like if you want me to scroll to like June 8th, yesterday, Rick over here, up $800. If we go to a random date, like the 3rd, Stanley up 1,800 right there. Another random date, June 2nd, Mark over here, up $44. It doesn't matter if you have a big account, small account, you can still profit with us here, regardless. May 27th, Rick over here, 13,000 off that account right there. Another random day, May 25th, Joey, he was up $600 right here. Another random day. Like I could literally pull up any day for you guys if you guys want to see what profits were made that day. And I can show you exactly who profited that day, what trades they took, what strategies they applied. It's real simple. So if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer your questions. I want to make sure there's no confusion, make sure that you guys can be profitable like everyone else here. Because if everyone's profiting and you're the only person that's not profiting, you might be doing something wrong, right? So I'm here to answer your questions and make sure that you guys get it right moving forward. So you don't have to, be like playing catch up with everyone while everyone's doing super well. So yeah, let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I don't see any other questions, guys. So I'll hang around for a bit. We've been on this session for a little over an hour now. So I will sit around until we get more questions. Or let's see, Malik said, is it safe to trade US 30 with a $500 account? So Malik, it depends on your broker. Some brokers require at least 1,000. If you're trading on Hugo's Way, I wouldn't recommend anything under 1,000. If you're trading on I'm trying to think what were those other brokers. I think FX Choice, you can trade with like $500. You should be fine on there, because each broker measures US 30 differently, Malik. So it depends on what broker you're using. If you're using, I'm trying to think what the other, there's a couple brokers that will allow like Oh, CoinX. Okay, so Josh, thanks for confirming that. CoinX, FX Choice, you can use those two with a small account, like 500 or less. If you're using like Hugo's Way or KOT or whatever other big name that people use, that even if it's unregulated, you would still need like about 1,000 to trade on those accounts. If you have a small account, I would recommend using CoinX or FX Choice. I haven't used any of those brokers, so I don't give you like my advice to like use them. But if that's all that you can afford or that's all that you can do, you can then I mean obviously that's all that you can use, right? But I wouldn't trade on Hugo's Way or Cot, or I can't remember any other brokers because I don't really trade on those anymore. But it just depends on your broker, Malik. So just confirm with your broker that you can probably just message the support, like ask them how much is it per how much does it cost per lot size. Because the thing is, some of them measure them by mini lots, some of them measure them by standard lots. Hugo's Way does by standard lots, so you would need at least 1,000 to even take the smallest lot size of 0.01. On CoinX, it's like a mini lot size. So instead of a 0.01 on Hugo's Way, it's technically like a 0.001 because it uses mini lot sizes. So you should probably use CoinX. Even Patricia over here mentioned that as well. Let's see, Rick said, can you go over what Patricia was noticing again? Only caught the end of what you said. Yeah, Rick. So what Patricia noticed was that if you get a momentum signal a minute or 2 minutes before the open, which is at 6:30 Pacific time, generally price will continue in that direction. So like looking at this, for example, let me just go back to an example for you here, Rick, because I think you're here now. So looking at this over, but I wouldn't necessarily use that as your main indicator, right? I wouldn't use that as like, oh, this is the end all be all. I would just use that as an extra confirmation. So there wasn't one today. I think there was one yesterday. All right, so yesterday over here at 6:30. Okay, so for example, right here, Rick, we have market open here at 6:30, right? So market opened right here at 6:30. You can see that at 6:29, there was a sell signal, right? With that sell signal right there, it's kind of indicating that momentum is going to swing downwards. So if you wanted to trade for a sell, you could possibly enter a sell like right on the open right there. And then you can shoot for, I don't know, like 500 pips, or I mean, this would be considered like your breakout entry. So if you were to run that there and let it run, and there it goes, right? It follows direction of momentum. So this is yeah, Rick said that wick though. Yeah, no, see that's why like I wouldn't necessarily base it off this like completely. I would I'd wait for that confirmation. That's why for me, I look for the fundamental confirmation with the technical. So let me just go over here and rewind this to 6 o'clock or 6:30 on what was yesterday? Tuesday, I believe. Yeah. So here, I'll just rewind it to there. So this is a 6:30 on Tuesday. I'll rewind it here as well on the 3-minute. So on the 3-minute again over here, same situation. Rewind it to 6:30. And then the 10-minute, I'll just do it as well, just so that I can show you guys, what the bias was at that time. Because the bias does, I mean, it works hand in hand if like they're all for a sell, obviously, right? So 6:30 right there. All right, so looking at this here, 6:30 yesterday, it was a sell on the 10-minute, 6:30 on the 3-minute, it was a sell, and then same on the 1-minute, it was also a sell. So with that said, you would you'd be able to take the sell here because it would fall under the requirements. So this would fall under the requirements. The only thing that we'd be looking at on top of that would be the fundamental analysis over here. So if the fundamentals were for a sell, the technicals were for a sell, then we would have taken that sell right here. And then Patricia's analysis right here would also go hand in hand with it, because that would indicate that price was likely to go down. I can't remember if we took the sell yesterday. Did we take it? Let me just scroll up real quick. Yeah, exactly, Rick. The fundamentals are going to be key. I would always base everything off the fundamentals. So yesterday on the 8th, actually, we did take that trade. So right here, you can see my profit here for a sell. I made 1,410, and I copied on both my accounts. So on both my accounts, I locked in that profit there. So we actually did take that sell right there. Once we had this confirmation, we did take this for a sell, and we pretty much wrote that down at TP. So yeah, that was, I mean, Patricia's analysis worked well with ours, and you tie those together, and that's basically a guaranteed win at that point. So yeah, I think that's it for that. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I don't see anything else here right now, so I'll just hang around for a few more minutes to see if there's anything else to cover. Otherwise, I think this might be it. I don't know if Charles is here. Let me see. Yeah, Charles isn't here. He's the one that called this meeting, but he's not here right now. I'll just send him the link. Hopefully that'll help him out. But other than that, yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If your questions don't get answered today, it's fine. Just reach out to me, and then we'll set up another group mentoring session, in the future, because, I'm here to help you guys out regardless. Roman said it just hit me as far as the Forex goes, we're basically trading zone to zone with the K2 zone strategy. Yeah, exactly, Roman. That's pretty much how that strategy works. We just use the momentum to identify the direction from there, so that you know exactly when to enter the trade. Looking at US 30 right here, I'm kind of like tempted to enter a sell, but no, I'm not gonna do it. It's not really worth the risk right now. But I'll probably enter it like in a couple hours once market starts to move a little more. Let's see, Pablo wants me to take a look at gold. So I'll pull up gold for you guys over here real quick. I'll just analyze gold from scratch. Gold's not really moving at all, but I'll just delete everything off the chart, and I'll show you guys how I analyze everything from scratch. So here's a naked chart. There's nothing on the chart. The first thing I'm going to do is identify market structure. I'll do that by turning on the K2SR indicator right here. I'll draw this zone below here. Another zone right there. Another zone right there. Looks like these zone. Oh, actually no. Another one right there. Just making sure that these don't overlap here. That right there. That right there. And another one over here. One right there, and then lastly, one above here. So once you draw market structure right here, you can identify, what direction price is going. So we'll turn that off. Looking at this right here, price is just consolidating within this area. So if I go ahead and just draw a vertical line right here, you can see that price is just consolidating within this area. I'll turn on the momentum indicator to identify our bias. Our bias right here is for a sell. So looking at gold right here, price is, there's one of two things that can happen. Price can either swing below here and close below this area. And then if this happens right here, you can take a sell. This is the same strategy that we applied earlier, Roman. It's the same thing, the K2SR zone strategy. Confirm wick rejection off K2SR zone to confirm. Oh no, sorry. This is a totally different strategy. Confirm breaking close past K2SR zone to confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. And then lastly, enter on the open of the following candle. So that's pretty much it for this strategy. And following this here, you need price to break and close below here. Right now we have a sell bias, so that's what we're waiting for. I want to enter right here because this doesn't necessarily need to play out, right? If this doesn't come below here, price can do one of two things. It can either reject off this point and shoot back up, or like I mentioned, it can come down below here and then continue dropping. So there really isn't anything for us to, to follow from this point here. So I personally wouldn't enter gold yet. Another thing you can do is you can pull up the dollar index because gold moves opposite of the dollar. So what you can pull up is the DXY. And you can see right here, the DXY is slowly going up, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep going up, right? If this drops right here, what do you think is going to happen to gold? Because they move opposite of each other. If the dollar is going up, so here, I'll just show you, for example, if the dollar is going up, what do you think is going to happen with gold? Gold's going to come down, right? Because if you understand basic fundamentals, when price is going down, that means that the second currency is stronger than the first currency. So if the dollar is strong, what do you think is going to happen with gold right here? It's going to drop, right? That's just basic fundamentals. Vice versa, if price is going up, that means that gold is stronger than the dollar. However, the gold's strong. I mean, the dollar is strong right now, so that's not going to happen. If the dollar goes down, then you can expect gold to go up. However, right now, the dollar is going up. So with the dollar going up, what's going to happen with gold? It's going to go down. So our bias right now is for a sell, but I wouldn't recommend entering this trade until price closes below here. When price closes below here, you can enter that sell and then write it down there, right? And that's pretty much it for gold. I mean, there's not really much for us to look at here. We have a sell bias, but until we have that confirmation below here, there just isn't an entry available just yet. All right, cool. So let me see if there's anything else here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can analyze anything for you. I mean, like these techniques that we use here, they work for anything. Like you can give me a random stock, you can give me a random crypto, you can give me random anything. I can analyze literally anything using the same process because our process is based off momentum. So as long as the asset moves, you can analyze it one way or the other. Carrie said, really want to join the team. Yeah, definitely, Carrie. If you want to join K2, I mean, you just go on the website. If you want to join just the free groups, because you can join the free groups, it's completely free. Just click join for free access here. If you want access to the Zoom links and the premium groups right here, where everyone shares ideas and everyone shares trades and stuff, you can sign up to the premium signals right here. If you want access to these indicators so that you guys can apply this on your own, that's where you get the most bang for your buck, guys. If you guys do that, you guys can literally cover your subscription with like a few trades. Like I'll show you here. What's his name? Shawi over here. He literally joined like yesterday. He joined one day, and then he made enough profit this morning to cover his entire subscription for the month. So right here, Shaqui. So you can see his message here. He said, "I know it's little, but I covered my monthly subscription in one day." And he was laughing about it because he literally just learned the strategy in one day. He applied it on his own, and he made about $300 to cover his entire subscription with just, with one night of trading. And Shaqui here, he's a doctor. So he like this guy, Shaqui, he just joined us. He's a doctor. So he doesn't really have time to be on the charts. He literally trades when he can. And when he trades, like, he makes enough profit to cover pretty much everything within a day or so. So if you guys want access to the indicators and the strategies, it's available to you. If you don't, it's completely fine. You can still join the group for free. Just click on free access right here and you'll get access to all of the free groups. But if you want access to the premium groups, you can sign up here for the premium signals and you'll get access to it there. This is probably your first step. If you're not ready for the strategy, this is your first step. You can make profits with just copying our trades here. And then from there, you can move on to the actual strategy and then pretty much make, profit on your own right here. That's pretty much how everything over here is set up, right? Like, because some people here will take a shitload of trades. Like, I think this is Dave. So Dave over here, he took like, I don't know how many trades he took yesterday. He takes like 40 or 50 trades because he knows the strategy. So he does everything on his own. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's pretty much how you would lock in more profit. Because a lot of you guys here lock in more profit than me. Today I locked in about 3,323. So if I add that up, I locked in 3,323 and 23 cents plus 3,212 and 35 cents. So I locked in about 6,500 for the day. And this is all from the live trading this morning. But other people here locked in way more than me, right? Deswell locked in 11,000. So he pretty much blew my profits out of the water. So if you guys learn the strategy on your own, you can do a lot better. But, it's really up to you. The opportunity is there. It's like everyone has the same opportunity, but not everyone wants to take it, right? It's really up to you whether you want to take it or not. It's there, but if you don't want to take it, it's completely fine. Let's see. Mo asked, got here 20 minutes late. You determine the bias from the trend, pivots, and momentum. Hey Mo, how's it going? So for me, I determine the bias. So if I'm trading US 30, I determine the bias from, yes, the pivots and the trend meter. So for example, here, if price is below the pivots, the trend meter is red. This is indicating a downtrend, right? So on the 10-minute, I have a bearish bias on the 10-minute. Going on the 3-minute, same situation over here. Price is below the pivots. The trend meter was red. It's blue now, so it's indecisive. It's not necessarily a strong bearish bias, but it's still a light bearish bias. Going down to the 1-minute, same situation. Price is above the pivots, so it's not a bearish bias, but the trend meter is red. So you can see that there's a clash, right? On the 10-minute, it's a bearish bias, a strong bearish bias. On the 3-minute, it's a light bearish bias because the trend meter isn't red. It's blue right now, meaning it's indecisive. And on the 1-minute, it's not a bearish bias, it's just neutral. So I do use all of them to determine that, but I want to trade it when it's like all in the same direction. So I want the 10-minute to be below the pivots and trend meter red. 3-minute, I want it to be below the pivots, trend meter red. And 1-minute, I want it to be below the pivots and trend meter red. If they're all lined up like that, then I'll take all of the trades like that. Then I'll start taking sells. If they don't all line up, then I don't take it, because like if you guys have been following me for like the past 3 years, I don't like to lose trades, right? My win rate's super high. So if I'm not completely convinced that this trade's going to win, I'm not going to take it. That's why I only take about 1 to 3 trades a day, but they're all wins, right? If you follow all of my trades here, like looking at my profits every single day, they're all wins, right? So for today, all wins. You can look yesterday on June 8th. I only took 2 trades, all wins. On the 7th, or we didn't trade on the 7th. On the 3rd, I took 3 trades, all wins. I don't like to lose trades, guys. You know, if you guys have been following me on the 3rd here, I took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, all wins on both my accounts. Because, you know, I'm very careful about what trades I take. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you guys are learning from me, I'm more so about accuracy rather than, you know, the quantity of trades. So other than that, I think that's it, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll hang around for about another minute. If we don't have anything here, I've been on the session for a little over an hour, so I think it's about time for me to take a break before I start looking for some more Forex trades for you guys. So yeah, I'll hang around for a little longer, see if there's anything else that comes up. Let's see, Rick said, let's see. Rick's asking 3-minute buy right now. Never mind, I thought I was going to close. Yeah, so on 3-minute, yeah, no, it hasn't closed above it. Even if it closed above it, Rick, I wouldn't have taken it because the trend meter, I mean, for the bias on the 10-minute is still a sell. So, you know, like what I was explaining before, Rick, if the bias isn't for a sell on the 10-minute, I'm not going to take a buy on the 3-minute because you're just going to lose that trade. You know, I always use the 10-minute as a bias. I go from a top-down analysis. I go from 10-minute, I find the bias on here, then I'll go on the 3-minute and I'll start looking for some trades. But currently, if this was to close above, I wouldn't have taken the trade because the bias for the 10-minute is still a sell. Let's see. Yeah, no, definitely, Rick. So Rick was saying that doing these weekly would be nice. I've been trying to do this weekly, but a lot of people don't attend these mentoring sessions. So that's why I just don't have them. But if you guys do want me to have these mentoring sessions, you know, just let me know and then we'll schedule a day during that week if you guys want me to, because I'm here to help you guys out. It's like, I'm literally here to help you guys out. But if you guys don't want the help, you know, I can't really just, I can't help anyone. So I'm here to help you guys. So if you guys ever need help with anything, you just ask me, you know, and I'll make sure that you guys master this stuff and get everything down. Because I think like with a lot of you guys have potential. It's just you guys are too scared to take trades, or you guys aren't like really confident enough. So a lot of you guys just like to wait for me to take the trades. But realistically, I mean, you guys can be just as successful as everyone else. You know, looking at everyone's profits here, there's really no excuse for anyone not to be killing it every single day, because there's never been a day where someone hasn't been profitable, right? It's just taking that risk and being confident about all the trades that you guys take. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out on Telegram. Otherwise, I will catch you guys tomorrow morning for the next live session. So other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. So have a great rest of your night, guys. I'll be around answering questions, but I think I'll be done for this live session now. I'm gonna go grab dinner real quick, and then I'll be back for the next 4-hour candle close in the next 50 minutes. So see you guys tomorrow.